Damon. Ole Miss Chancellor Dan Jones is vowing he will not step down after the IHL said he's out of a job in September. Today, in an exclusive one-on-one interview, Jones told me that the news caught him by surprise Friday.
I'm not sure I completely understand what's happened.
On the heels of a fight with cancer, Dr. Dan Jones says the governing board of IHL dealt him another shocking blow Friday when it announced they would not renew his contract. During 6 years at the helm of Ole Miss, Jones led the university to record numbers in enrollment and fundraising. But he says his fights with the board may have taken its toll. Still, he didn't think it would come to this.
I'm passionate about doing what's right. I'm passionate about doing what's best for the University of Mississippi. And so I have been passionate, and certainly I'm capable of stepping on people's toes. Personally, I don't see anything that I've done that would break the relationship and break the trust that we've had between us that would allow me to continue as chancellor.
Jones says IHL wanted the authority to name a new vice chancellor at UMMC. Jones says as head of Ole Miss, that was his job and he wouldn't give in. And despite speculation that the governor's office had something to do with it, he made that point clear.
As far as I know, Governor Bryant is not involved.
So far, the governing board of IHL has only issued a written statement as to the decision to part ways with Dr. Jones. It is guarded, but it does point to questions about the operation of UMMC in Jackson.
The Commissioner of Higher Ed, Dr. Jim Borsig, issued a written statement Saturday. In part, it says, the concerns centered on financial issues at the University of Mississippi Medical Center. The board had discussed these and related concerns with Dr. Jones over a lengthy period of time, and these matters were not corrected to the satisfaction of the Board of Trustees. Jones says that debate centered on contracts management and computer software to manage purchases that he admits could have been implemented better.
In the last few years, we've invested more than $100 million in new enterprise software. And whether you're in New York or whether you're in Mississippi, you don't make that transition to using that sophisticated software perfectly. We still are making shifts in our culture.
Former Netscape CEO Jim Barksdale and author John Grisham are just a few of the high-profile supporters who have expressed outrage over the Dan Jones decision. Jones says he won't step down, and if there's a fight to keep the job, it's a job he would like to keep.
This is a personnel decision that the board has made. So if there's a parade about trying to have the board change its mind, somebody else needs to lead it. I will simply say that I would consider it a privilege to continue as Chancellor of the University of Mississippi.
The IHL vote was not close, 9-2, not to renew Jones's contract. There are various social media sites now up and running designed to try and keep Jones in place. There's also a rally scheduled at the university's Lyceum for this Wednesday at noon.